All right, guys, welcome to another session of the Transform Sales Podcast Sales Software Review. We have our guest today, Scott Smith, CEO of Zight, and he's going to share with us how account executives can use his tool to do prospecting. And there's a lot of exciting things we're going to see. So for those that are watching, pay close attention. And Scott, happy to have you here.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So Scott, what is the name of the software product you want to share with us today?
Yeah, so the product name is Zight, Z-I-G-H-T, Zight.com.
Awesome. And what category do you guys fall into at the moment?
We fall into the visual communication and collaboration tools software category.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. And Scott, and who happen to be your best customers for this software product at the moment? Yes. I know we're going to focus on account executives and prospecting, but in general, who can benefit from this tool?
Yeah, for sure. So I think our customers at a very broad scale is basically anyone with a computer. So like a knowledge worker, companies like Dropbox talk about how they have 1 billion knowledge workers. But from an ideal customer profile, do you want me to talk more about that yet or
sure,
not yet?
Sure.
Yeah. So narrowing this down a bit further, our ideal customer tends to be somebody in this sort of like 50 employees to 1,000 employees size, usually in the United States. And then those who are kind of like information technology hardware, software and services, internet, healthcare, those types of industries. And then in terms of like persona, it's account executives, customer facing folks, customer support, customer success.
And when it comes to sales, I know we're going to speak about account executives today, but what other roles within sales are highly benefiting from this tool?
Yeah. So like in terms of like prospecting, you mean, or like
when it comes to prospecting?
Yeah. So specific areas within sales, definitely prospecting. I think what we tend to find more and more is that it's really hard to get people to reply, open, read emails. And so like any just simple, easy way to connect, like sending a video, making it easy to book a meeting, do all these things a little bit more asynchronously without having an AE call you. That's huge for us. So prospecting is a big one. Closing deals is a big part of it. You know, people actually get confused when it comes to DocuSign and other tools. So if you send a video explaining, hey, here are the steps how to do it, you're going to close more deals. So I think those are some ways that we see our customers, especially in account execs, using the product.
Scott, thanks for sharing that. And what does your software is currently helping users do that they couldn't do before your software existed?
Yeah, so I can give a quick personal example, but when I was helping build out a product called Workplace at Facebook 5 years ago, or no, I guess 8 years ago, we found that when we wanted to send a update to the software, to the product broadly, obviously we would update like documentation or we'd do a webinar. But one of the biggest issues was that we wanted to customize these product updates and help our customers see what changed. And there wasn't really an easy way to do it. And so usually what we would do is we'd say, record a video like on QuickTime and then upload it to Dropbox. And it'd be like this huge 2 gig file. You'd compress it. You'd have to worry about permissions. It would take like an hour to upload. You'd have to worry about the codec being perfect, to work on a certain browser. Where now with Zight, this solution basically is, hey, let me just show you this thing. And it turned out to be a super, super easy solution to a very complex technical problem. And so like our customers use it, like you mentioned, for recording sales presentations, answering customer support tickets, pointing out bugs that the sales team might be seeing with their product so they can close those deals faster. That's kind of how we view the world now versus what it used to be.
No, and something that you mentioned that's very interesting is not only for prospecting, right, but also the internal use. Like right now, we as a marketplace, we are definitely investing a lot of time on reporting bugs or getting a lot of feedback from clients. So us using a tool that allows us to give our team more insight of how to follow those same steps or what does that improvement looks like is helping us a lot, right? So having this tool is very essential, not only for those that are prospecting, but also those that are reporting back to the team if there's something wrong in the website or a landing page, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So how should users measure success with your software product at the moment?
Yeah, so I think like, it's super easy to make videos, but I'd say like the 3 most important things that I view, especially from an account executive lens, is first, is the video that I created, was it actually watched? And then second, how much of that video was watched? And then third, if any action was taken. My goal, and I've been an account executive, I've been a sales development rep. So like, I know we're hungry for meetings. We need to connect with clients and we need to save time. So if the
100%.
videos that I'm making are not even getting watched, that's important. And I should either figure out, is it the subject line or is it like the CTA in the email? If they are watching it and maybe they're dropping off after like 10 seconds, you almost have to be like Mr. Beast and change your approach to these videos so that they connect instantly and more, seamlessly with these prospects. And then last, like at the end of the video, we have a button that you can automate and make it so that it shows up and it says, book a meeting or, view a demo or whatever you want to customize it to be. And if that action isn't being taken, or at least like 1 out of every 10 times, you again know there's probably a bit of a feedback loop you got to go back and tweak. So, again, the 3 things are, if it was watched, how much of it was watched, and then if an action was taken. And you always want to kind of loop that back into your feedback and see if you can drive more meetings.
Oh, absolutely. And that's something that's going to help the team improve, right? Because you guys can analyze those videos, see what worked, see what didn't, compare with the other AEs in the team to see what's working for them. And then you get to apply that and get better results. So I like what you're saying. I think this is very interesting. I use this kind of tool myself, and sometimes I see that not only is people just commenting on the videos, but where's the CTA? Where do they go after? And I feel like that essential piece was going to drive the booking, was going to drive the next conversation, right? So this is all great, but one of the main things here is we want people to see how the software works. So if you could share a quick demo, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. So you can kind of walk us through how an account executive is able to do prospecting, let's say from a prospect on LinkedIn, so that they can potentially get a booking, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go into account executive mode. So I'm Scott. I work at a company called Zight, and I'm trying to connect with this customer, potential customer named Jeff Chevet at a company in New York called Ashoni. And so I've installed Zight. It's a desktop app up here, but it's also a Chrome extension over here. And so I can easily see, quickly, easily accessible. So I'm going to start a recording and, I'm over here, right? Quickly, I'm going to check to make sure that my settings are all good. I've got my camera, I've got my microphone all set. And my approach here is I just want to simply personally connect with Jeff. So I start the recording. There's a little quick countdown and I'm off. So I'll say, hey, Jeff, I noticed that you were visiting our website earlier today. You signed up and submitted a lead form. I wanted to actually just personally introduce myself as the account executive over your company here at Zight. And I was hoping that we could schedule a quick meeting. I'll include a link to do that in this video and look forward to talking to you soon. So when I'm done, I just click finish recording. It's uploaded instantly and you can see how quick this is. So it's not going to get in the way of prospecting. It's super fast. There's a couple things that are going on right now. You can see this processing. We're sending this to OpenAI and we're going to make it, basically something that can be automatically add a description, add a title, and I'll just kind of give you an example here. So the AI automatically creates a title for you. Again, you can edit this if you want, but this kind of saves me a few minutes. It's added a quick description here. And then I can come in and see, oh, I've got the transcription down here in case maybe you want to run it through AI later and say, hey, can you give me some suggestions on the text that I actually used in my video today? I'm feeling like it's not working that well. You can have analytics use so that if you sent the video, you'll be able to see, oh, okay, he watched it and then how much he watched it. And then 2 other quick things that I find that it helps out for me a lot is you'll notice right here, there's a button. And so I can come in and say, I want to add a button and I want this button to be like, book a meeting. And I can either use like my Calendly, Outreach, whatever, and I'll save it. And so one thing that's really annoying to me is I make a lot of these videos, right? Like you might do the same thing. I might make 10, 20 a day. And so I want to be able to make it so that I can add a template. So usually I would just click apply template and this book a meeting button is going to exist and be there forever. I can change the colors, all those great things. And then lastly, obviously I want to come in and send this video to Jeff. So I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to come into Gmail and just paste it in here. And I've got this great quick thumbnail that I can send. Obviously I can send this in Slack. I can put it in LinkedIn. I can put it in Twitter, but that's the goal and the approach. And then just lastly, coming back, because you have a desktop app, you can get notifications of when people have watched it in real time. And then that way, if you've moved on to another prospect or another company, you'll be able to see, oh, they got back to it, go into my sales automation tool, my inbox, and follow up there. So that's our quick demo.
Got it. So Scott, I do have a question. When it comes to templates, it only creates a template on the button, or does it also create a template on the title or the description in case I want to use or sound it specifically, right? And also the other thing I wanted to mention, the good thing about this, the transcription, is that you can scrape that, add it to ChatGPT, and if you're gonna you're gonna create content, you're gonna add this video as part of the content, you can transcribe that and actually use that to create the base of the content, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Awesome.
so to answer your question about the templates, basically you can color the button, you can have the title, you can have the link, and you can name it so that the template would basically be like sales or engineering or product or whatever. Or it's my, book a meeting button. And then it's just always going to apply to every new video that you create over and over and over. Obviously you can then disable it when you want to change or approach things a little differently, but that template now becomes part of your video, customized forever.
Got it. And Scott, am I also able to embed this video into like a newsletter? For example, right now we have a newsletter in Beehive, right? And sometimes when we create these quick videos, we want to be able to plug them in as an embed. Is that possible with?
Yeah, totally.
With Zight?
So we do a bunch of things to make embeds easy. First of all, like we have connected to this third-party service called OEmbed. So if you just paste the link, and I'll just show you a quick example. Okay. Maybe you go into Slack and you share it in there. And this is the case with hundreds of apps where it will unfurl like that or preview. But in the case of a newsletter, if you just click this share button and then you click the embed option, you've got your title, your branding, all that kind of good stuff. And you've got a quick preview here. So you can kind of see it. It looks pretty good, but you can also get rid of that branding if you want, or the title, and it just makes it as a quick video.
Awesome. And when it comes to, for example, one of the things that I notice is, we're making a lot of videos on a day-to-day. How do you keep them organized, like in a folders? How do you manage like all those videos that you take, just so that you don't get lost in there?
Yeah. So
how does that look like?
We have two different parts of the product. So for example, I've got collections, and let's open this one really quick. So collections is just like a place where I can store all the videos I've created into different folders, essentially. So these are all the collections I've created. These are also a bunch of tests that we've done internally. So I apologize for how crazy it is. And then also you just have a place where you can see all the content you've ever created. Let me turn that off.
Got it. So does it let you like have some sort of tag or custom field? For example, in our case, we create content for buyers, for sellers. When it comes to sellers, right, if it's a remote candidate or if it's a software company, but are you able to label them so that you know how to find them quicker? Is that an option with you guys as well?
So for now, what we have is just title, description. If you wanted to add like a hashtag or a label, you would then be able to go back into search and then search for those up here. We're actually working on some really interesting approaches where we're taking AI, and instead of making it so that you have to edit and apply your own labels, it'll basically take some of the content that's in the video or the screenshots or whatever, and then apply automatic labels so that eventually you can just, search for things and not have to worry about labeling things. So a little bit more like Google Photos if you use that product, or Apple Photos.
Awesome. No, this is great. I feel like this is something that anybody can just easily grab and start using. Right. Especially me, I'm also an account executive, and I use this kind of tools every day to make my job a lot easier. I'm not saying that emails doesn't work, direct message doesn't work, but a video, you kind of get into the person in a more personal way. And I feel like that's something that we should never stop doing. And, people like different type of approaches. You always want to try different ones and see which one actually hits it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing that's really important is that sometimes earlier in your career, when you're in, as a sales development rep or an account exec, you just think about things a little bit, overly simplified, where you're saying, I'm just going to send 1 million emails, or I'm going to make 1 million calls. And realistically, like a lot of these sequence tools like Outreach or SalesLoft or HubSpot, whatever, Salesforce, they've made it so that you can holistically attack or try to communicate with an account or a prospect or specific, ICP. And, maybe it's you send an email, you make a call, you connect on LinkedIn, you like somebody's post on Twitter, you send a video, you text them. I think you kind of have to look at this as a holistic view, not just you only send videos. It's sort of like this whole package all together eventually is going to increase outcomes for you to drive more meetings, drive more bookings.
Yeah, I agree with you. The opt-in channel approach has always been a good way to go, right? Because Awesome. Well, Scott, this is great. I really like the session that we had the opportunity to come across. Scott, thank you for your time. For those that are watching, if you are considering a screen sharing software, we are going to leave the link on the description so that if you decide to take this as one of your tools we want to use when it comes to prospecting, whether you're an AE or in sales in general, this will be the right tool for you. And Scott will always be there to support you as well. So thank you, Scott, for being on this session of the Transform Sales Podcast review on the Sales Software Review, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody.